right, so FIFA Club World Cup action still ongoing in the United States of America. 32 club teams from 6 continents converging for one coveted trophy. But then the good news for Africa is that finally one African country out of the 4 has managed to get a win. And that came from South African side, Mamelodi Sundowns, in their game against Ulsan Hyundai, the Korean side. It was quite an easy one for Mamelodi Sundowns, but they still managed to get one over the line with. And now they become the first African side in the competition to win a game. We didn't hear enough good news after WAC of Morocco also got beaten by Manchester City by 2-0, which means that currently it's Sundowns that's hoisting the flag of Africa very, very high. So welcome to this particular edition of the sports cruise here on the ALmedia channel. My name is Jose Okoko. We'll be taking an extensive look at the FIFA Club World Cup currently ongoing, which players have been standout performers and which teams also have made an impact so far. Bayern Munich were 10-0 winners over Auckland City, and that is what you call a cricket scoreline. But it's not just that. Sergio Ramos was also on the score sheet for Monterrey in their 1-1 draw against Inter Milan. He doesn't stop scoring, but then that was a trademark header from Sergio Ramos we saw there. So it's given us so many good vibes, and definitely my pundit here today with me would have a lot to talk about it. All right, so I have Atiga Mauli Fox to my extreme left, and then also Courage here with me. We'll be talking about the FIFA Club World Cup, like I said. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I have really enjoyed myself. Unfortunately, if we are talking about African teams representing the continent in this particular tournament, I doubt would have much to say or much positive things to say. Let me start off with you, Force. Your general impression about the FIFA Club World Cup and whatever you've taken notice of since the competition began.
Well, Josiah, first and foremost, I want to establish my displeasure, my disdain, my anger about this whole tournament. This is a tournament that is not inuring to the benefit of the players. You understand? And you see, we all can accept the fact that we are all stakeholders of the game. You understand? The pundits, the connoisseurs, the players, FIFA itself, the supporters. Every single person is a connoisseur of the game. But the main architects of football are the players, right? And rightly so, they have indicated continuously that the number of matches that continuously they've been able to play or they've been playing does not inure to their health. De Bruyne has come out to say that. Bruno Fernandes has come out to say that. The players are continuously crying about the workload. If Inter Milan or PSG goes to the finals of this championship, it practically means that their players might have played more than 80 matches in the 2024-2025 season. That should tell you the workload that the players are undergoing. The justification is that they are being paid a lot of money. Yes, they are being paid. No, you see, we have to decouple the money they're being paid and the workload.
But you can't.
No, you can decouple it. You understand? Because at the end of the day, you would have, if the players are not able to give off their best, then on what basis are we paying to watch them? The players must be fresh. The players must be at their utmost best to give you the best. So if you are using them like horses, if you are using them to the extent that they are even complaining that they are playing enough matches, they are playing too many matches, we the supporters, we're going to love it, you understand? Because we want to watch football every single day. But the main architects of the game, the main players of the game are saying that we are tired. You are overusing us. And that is the main reason why I really like what Javier Tebas said. He said that his main duty this season is to make sure that he kicks out the Club World Cup because it does not inure to
the Spanish teams competing in the Club World Cup.
It does not matter. Does it?
And then it comes once every 4 years, just like the World Cup.
You see, Josiah, what we are saying is that does it inure to the benefit of football, or it is just a money grabbing galore? And to me, I can say categorically that it is a money grabbing galore.
Then you can say same about every other tournament being organized for these players to play.
It is not so, Josiah. We have made it categorically clear that at the end of the day, players are complaining about the number of matches that they are being asked to play. Right? So you jump back a couple of seasons ago. We can also talk about the Super League.
Yeah, which never materialized.
Because clubs were not happy with it. You understand? Because it puts a lot of load on players, and the justification is that it expands football.
But let me play the devil's advocate. What happens to having a larger squad, to compete in all these tournaments? Because it's more or less like some people are even calling it, a very competitive friendly. Because normally when teams are done with the season, they move all the way to the US of A to enjoy that sunny, summer weather over there. So what happened to having a larger squad, and why do you think teams are not rather trying to deploy other academy players or one or two players mixed with the squad and then compete in this tournament?
Did you hear what Pep Guardiola said? He said he's not going to have a squad of more than 23 players.
That's his decision.
Squad. You have 11 players on the pitch. So if you have 23 players, it means that you have another set on the bench.
Yeah.
So how many are going to be in the substitutes bench? So you will have to categorize what you want. You will have to put into perspective what football is all about. Football is about entertainment. But the main architects of the entertainment are saying that they are getting tired, they are getting used, they are getting overused.
But they are taking the paycheck.
You see, okay. Musicians take the paycheck, but they are also complaining about their mental health. So if they are not in the best of positions to give you their best, to what extent is the money going to be worth?
But I think it works hand in hand. You get paid, you work on yourself. It goes hand in hand.
It does not work hand in hand. It does not. I get to the point, because at the end of the day, if imagine if you have a car and the manufacturer has given you specifications on how to use the car, and you overuse the car, it means that what? You will not get the full benefit of the car. The same thing.
But regardless, you can have it working for you.
No, you can have it work, but not to the full benefit of the specifications for which you have bought the car. And the same thing is happening. If players are bent out, if players are worn out, if players are not at their optimal best, are you going to get the best out of them?
But do you think it has taken anything, quality-wise, entertainment-wise? Do you think that has taken anything away from what we are seeing at the Club World Cup? You think so?
Because I do not see that there's a vast difference between what we saw in the Champions League and what we are seeing in the Club World Cup. The matches are being played at walking pace.
That's what you think. How many of the games have you witnessed already?
It is not what I think. It is what is being exhibited.
It's the first of its kind. No, so you can't compare. Listen. It's the first.
What is happening on the pitch?
It's not the very first of its kind. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
What is happening on the pitch is what I am analyzing.
And I'm asking you.
And I am saying that.
Yes.
I am saying.
When was the Champions League played? In Europe. Right?
Yes.
Is the European weather the same as the American weather?
It does not matter.
It matters.
The reason is that we have had Champions League nights where the humidity is high, but the matches are played at a competitive level.
At what time?
If Josiah, if you watch if you watch the match against PSG and Atletico Madrid, the only difference was that the scoreline was 4-0, but the match was practically played at a walking pace. You understand?
That's your discussion, though. Kai, let me bring you in. I don't know if you'd also concur to what Force is saying.
I'm not impressed. Stadium attendance poor.
Did you watch? There was one game that had about close to 80,000. Why?
That was the only game that.
No, wait. So do you know the average? No, wait.
That game was. You know that's been the average attendance.
Wait. I think you need to do your math. You need to do your math. No, wait. The Chelsea game had 20,000.
The average attendance has been poor.
It is believed that Chelsea do not have most of their fans in the US.
It is not believed. It is not believed.
But Manchester United,
it is not believed, Josiah.
Manchester United and Real Madrid played a friendly game.
No, Chelsea has been going to the US. For the past season, and they fill the stadium.
Wait. Just because Chelsea make it to the USA doesn't mean they have a stronghold.
They have been filling the stadiums continuously.
More than Liverpool.
Every season,
Manchester United.
Every season,
I don't think. No.
Last season, Chelsea were in the US, and they filled the 80,000 capacity.
Who did they play against?
It doesn't matter.
It matters.
It does not matter.
They might not have come for you. Let me hear from you. I don't want us to move on with this thing. I might not also agree with one or two things, but then let's move on, Courage.
Yes. So as I said earlier, I'm not impressed at all because game wise they are not giving us the quality we anticipated. Their teams are trying testing their new players, so it's more like a preseason game. It's still like a preseason matches. It's preseason phase, so we are not seeing the real competitiveness in this particular Club World Cup. Certain teams that do not deserve to be there are already there.
Which teams do you think do not deserve to be there?
Oh, you can see work of Africa.
Well,
how do you make?
No, but no. I think you have to go back. No, I think you have to go back and check. No. Read about.
Yes.
How these teams
how did Chelsea qualify?
They qualified by the fact that they won 4 years. Yes, it was a 4-year plan.
No, you don't need
wait. Do you know there's a CAF 5-year plan? Do you know how UEFA calculate their coefficient? I think you need to go back on that.
4 years ago, Chelsea had fire
because they started. The idea was to bring all the winners of the Champions League and the best.
Just for quantity.
Why? No. Wait. Why do you think Red Bull Salvage is there? No, I'm coming. You need to educate.
They don't deserve to be there.
Why don't they deserve to be there?
What have they achieved in the past 2 years?
So why is Barcelona not there?
Yes, so because they don't deserve to be there. Barcelona have done.
It's not because it's not based on merit.
Yes.
Who?
Barcelona.
They've been missing. Who says?
They've done nothing in Europe to deserve to be.
So who deserves to be there then?
Which is that conquered Europe in recent years, 2 years ago.
Which is recent? Why are you saying 2 years ago?
Yes, because if you want to,
you don't give your timeline.
No, see, your current state determines who you are, the level you are. But if you see the Chelsea, only one player who made constant in this Chelsea team, that's Reece James. Aside Reece James, there is no single player who participated in 4 years ago glory.
No, wait. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you. How do teams qualify for the World Cup? Or even the FIFA Club World Cup. The old format. Wait, the old format. How the teams or do teams qualify for?
Immediate success.
No, listen. How do teams qualify for the FIFA Club World Cup?
You win a continental.
Then you book a so you earn yourself a ticket.
Yes.
So assuming you win that tournament and you, let's say, do away with 10 of your players.
No, it's not even a matter of shipping your players in or players staying or whatever. But it's a matter of, are they still the best clubs in Europe?
But who is this club? So a club that won the Champions League 4 years ago.
Yes.
Think isn't good enough?
Chelsea team.
It's not current. We are talking about a club that won the competition 4 years ago.
We are not supposed to see that like these are not the best clubs around the world. The teams.
I know, but which other teams do you think should have been there? I just want to know. I'm curious. Which
Barcelona has the bars and everything. Barcelona was in the Champions League semi-final just last season.
Not the final.
Real Madrid themselves.
Actually,
how is Real Madrid missing in?
But Real Madrid are playing.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Madrid are there. Yes.
I saw that.
So Madrid are playing.
So Barcelona is supposed to be there.
You think Barcelona is supposed to be there?
Yes.
Then they should have Manchester United, I think. Right. So let's go through the games. I think we shouldn't really have objections about how the qualification had to be or how teams ended up playing, because there was a clear plan by FIFA on how you can qualify.
Very soon.
The modalities are there. Now, if you win the Champions, if Kwame Brem can win the CAF Champions League, then the next 2029 they should be there. Now let's talk about the games we've witnessed so far and how good some of these teams have been. Perhaps we can look at that Paris Saint-Germain and then also Atletico Madrid game and how good they were. I believe they've been, aside Bayern Munich trashing Auckland City, Force, you would agree that that game to some extent has been the best game so far.
It was expected to be the best game, you understand, because you have last season's best defensive team in Europe against last season's best attacking team in Europe. So it is a game that on the balance of scale, you see it was going to be a tough game, but on the day it did not really live up to what I expected. I expected Atletico Madrid to come to the party. I did not expect Atletico Madrid to be so defensively, awkward, because if you look at what Atletico Madrid had been able to achieve last season as a team collectively in La Liga, conceding just 30 goals, right? Conceding just 30 goals and then keeping almost 20 clean sheets in La Liga alone, for them to just come up against PSG and then concede 4 goals against PSG. To me, I thought that it was a big variance to what we had expected from them. But by far, I would say that it's been the best game per what we have been able to see from the other games, especially from Bayern Munich and then what's the name, Auckland City. And you see, Carrie rightly indicated. If you look at the Auckland team, I do not know the reason for which they are part of the squad. You understand?
Did Tahiti qualify to the World Cup?
I get a question, because if you this is a professional football, you understand? So if you tell me that a team has 7 professionals, we have procurement experts there, we have sales managers there, we have nurses there, we have farmers in the team, and you are playing at the highest level. You are playing against a Bayern Munich team. You understand? So I to not look down on Auckland City as a club, I do not think that they deserve to be part of this tournament. Based on the fact that they are a semi-professional club. They are not a professional club.
Who says based on
that
what?
That is what they are.
Based on what?
That is what. No, that's that is their entity. That they are
the club is being run as a professional club. You need to get it right. It's the players. No, listen. So it's not a club. No, listen. But who says in Europe do not have players who also engage in other activities? No, you're getting no. I think yeah.
Okay, we are educated.
Are they professional footballers? Wait, let me ask you a simple question.
They are not professional.
Please, I'm the moderator. Are they professional players or not?
They are not.
What are they?
They are not professional because they are semi-professional.
Because they
have jobs. They have full-time jobs.
Who says they are full-time? Who says? No, you need to do your background check.
No, just go and check your records.
No, you are getting it wrong.
I am saying that the record shows that what Auckland City has it's a semi-professional club.
It's not a semi-professional club. You need to get your facts right.
Semi-professional footballers playing at the highest level against some of the best teams in Europe.
I think you are getting a bit with what you are saying. You are getting. It's not a semi-professional club. Please get it right. All the clubs competing at FIFA Club World Cup are professional. So yes, so get it right. The club has got players that have got other activities they engage in aside football, and it's normal. Lamine Yamal not schooling. Wait, is Lamine Yamal not schooling?
Josiah.
No, wait, is he not schooling?
Lamine Yamal.
It takes something away from the parents.
That's not it.
Lamine Yamal is an outlier. Lamine Yamal is an outlier.
Why?
The 23 players that were brought to this tournament, right? The 23 players that were brought to this tournament by Auckland City are professionals in other fields. Are professionals in other fields. So if you're just opposing this situation,
so they are not professional footballers.
They are not. See, it's clear.
Are they not full time? No, it's one time. It's one thing being a full time footballer, and it's one thing not being a professional. Get it right.
They are not professional footballers.
Who are they?
Professional footballers.
No. Based on what you are saying, you need to buttress it with that definition.
Because the person is we have a marketer. We have a marketer. We have a marketer for this food company. What's the name? Burger King. We have a sales manager for Burger King. We have a procurement manager. So we have a marketer.
Wait, so based on that,
I am saying, Josiah, there's no way you are going to tell me that even if you go to the 4th division of European football, you will see a player who has a full-time job and playing as a professional. It does not happen.
No, wait.
Let's be truthful to ourselves. Our director is here. We engage with player management and contractor agreements. Myself, I've seen a lot. See, when they bring you a professional football contract, they state in it that the player must not engage in any other activities
like outside. No, like what? Like what?
You are not supposed to be a part-time Burger King or
no, but you know the football. No, do you know the footballers who also engage in other activities?
Which other activities?
Like are you much aware?
You can engage in these activities, but not for professional purposes. You are not supposed to play any critical role
in what?
You can be a student. A student is something normal. But
doesn't it take part of your time?
No, they need to accept 2 different proposals or 2 different contracts. They make you
come back again.
Remind him that when Bill got injured and went to play golf, he was punished.
Why?
Because you have engaged in something that is
he played golf for what? Recreational purposes, or he played professional golf?
When Tevez went alone, right? And went to play golf. What happened to him? He was suspended. So he has to understand and he has to know that
to be a
in the professional setting, there are different
images. Everything counts.
Wait. No,
you cannot.
That's what I'm saying.
You need to see an Arsenal player.
Please, let's move on. Let's talk about African clubs representing in this tournament. Fortunately, all 4 African clubs have played. Ahly drawing with Inter Miami, and then also Esperance losing to Brazilian side Flamengo by 2-0. Then we also saw Mamelodi Sundowns with a 1-0 win over Ulsan Hyundai, and then also WAC lost to Manchester City. Would you say it was based on the opposition they faced, or the African clubs are just not good enough? Courage.
Let me just roll you back again. On what merits are they there? The current African Champions League winners are who? Sundown or Pyramids. They are not there.
Yeah.
So what shows that
because they won.
Best in wait. Let me conclude. What shows that Africa is presenting their best team for this particular.
But no, if you have Ahly there, Ahly is not one of the best in Africa.
One of, but not the best.
Okay, I don't know.
One of.
So
these teams, they don't deserve to be there. They have to present our best.
But they are the best in the last 4 years.
Currently.
Which teams would you have asked to go?
Pyramids, of course.
So aside Pyramids, which other teams would you have asked to go?
But who was the second?
So it was Sundowns, and Sundowns are there.
No. Why are the winners not there? Pyramids.
Because before the timeline for qualification. No, wait. You need Kai. I think for the purposes of this, you need to understand that
for the purposes of the qualification,
you need to understand that
they did not fall within the time frame
of qualification to have qualified. So you need to understand it's about having the best.
That's why I don't read this tournament.
Why don't you read the tournament?
The best teams are not there, and then.
I asked you out of the 32 teams. I asked you the teams you believe should have been there, but you've not said it. You only mentioned Barcelona.
Yes, because
Barcelona are the only team
amongst many. I go and mention
another team.
I can mention a lot.
So mention. All right, first, let me take your views on African clubs and their performances so far. We'll look at some individual, players as well who have. Sergio Ramos scored, and we'll be talking about Sergio Ramos in a bit. But firstly, African clubs and how they fared so far for you.
Well, so far it's been a mixed bag. You understand? I mean, 4 representatives, only 1 win, 1 draw. I think 2 draws and 1 loss. But it is the first time that Africa has been sent onto the global stage when it comes to football, apart from the World Cup. It is not a good show if you want African football to, advance itself. I thought that Ahly should have beaten Inter Miami. You understand? Because I thought that Ahly should have beaten Inter Miami, and if Ahly had beaten Inter Miami, the script would have been far different. You understand? I mean, it would have given us the impetus to go into the other games, but we had a draw, and I am not really happy with the representation that the African clubs are giving us. But on the day, or on the whole, I can say that because this is the first time experience, and you see, it boils down to quality again. You understand? If you look at the quality that the Europeans are parading, if you look at the quality that the South Americans are parading, if you look at the quality that the Asians are parading, there's a vast difference. The biggest quality is coming from the Europeans, and apart from the Europeans, look at the South Americans. They are bringing, some of the best players in the world. You understand? And then Africa might say they are also bringing the best, but you don't see the quality, the level of quality that the Europeans are bringing in the African terrain. So there's always going to be a difference when we face them. You understand? Unless it is a continuum that at the end of the day we go into the European space and then bring the quality that they have into our space. But that is not possible because of the wage bill and the structure of the monies that are involved. But again, I would say that it has not been that bad. Mamelodi Sundowns has gotten a win against Hyundai. It is good for us, but going into the second round, I would expect that Ahly should be able to get a win. WAC should be able to get a win. At least 2 out of the 4 representatives of Africa should be able to go into the next round. If that happens,
is that realistic?
Yes, it is, because I believe that Sundowns will be able to go to the next round. Ahly, based on what I saw against Inter Miami, should be able to make it into the next round. And then WAC is going to find it a bit difficult, But at the end of the day, I believe that Ahly and what's the name, Mamelodi Sundowns are our best shots in getting to the next round.
What should be the target for these teams? At least something they come back home with and will feel, it was a success.
Building up on what Paul said, I think Ahly should have beaten Inter Miami in the first match, and unfortunately they drew 0-0. It was that bad for them because Inter are one of the weakest teams in this particular tournament, so we should have gotten 3 points out of them. And then also already Sundowns, big ups to their goalkeeper. He did very, very well. Brandon Williams. Yeah. He did very, very well.
That is why he's the best goalkeeper in Africa. Yes.
No doubt. He's not better than Onana though. Continue.
Okay. You.
Continue. You. Continue. All right, now let's talk about some, great performance. Harry Kane was missing in that 10-0 drubbing over Auckland City. But Sergio Ramos, at age 39, like fine wine, he scored Montreal's only goal. It was the Argentine international Lautaro who also equalized for Inter Milan. Now, who has been your standout performer so far, Force?
Well, I would say Vitinha. You understand? It shouldn't be surprising because this is the guy whom last season was, to me, by far the best midfielder. You understand? and I can make an argument, a bookload argument that he's the best player. You understand, in the world last season. You see, when you talk about the position that he is in, the defensive midfield position, we have not actually had a stature of his kind. Most of the defensive midfielders that we have had over the past years have been rugged, have been tough guys. You look at Michael Essien, you look at Makelele, you look at Mascherano, you look at De Jong, you look at Gattuso, you look at Casemiro. These are guys with massive physique. But you look at Vitinha, and he's had a combination of physique, mentality, technique, and you don't see defensive midfielders with the level of technical ability that he has gotten. And he's been able to not only control the games, he's been able to dictate the pace of games that he's been involved in. He's been able to, allow PSG flow. And remember that he's the cog between attack and defense. He's been able to break down attacks. And per his stature, I do not believe that he would have been able to do that. But the last season has been fantastic for him. And in the Club World Cup, I would say that against Atletico Madrid, he was the reason why they were able to win 4-0, and he was the reason why they kept a clean sheet.
Interesting. Kite, I'm sure you might have been impressed by at least one or two players.
You made mention of Sergio Ramos earlier on. Fantastic. He scored a goal. That's credit to a defender. But then I think I'm very, very impressed with this guy as well, Thiago Silva, Fluminense captain. The player he has been. He managed to stop an European attack. They kept a clean sheet at the end of the day. You see a player who's almost 42 or 43 and then playing this very active, and then with the physique and then the condition level he demonstrated over the weekend. I think he's my best player so far in this tournament.
You'd go with Thiago Silva?
Yes, Thiago Silva.
Interesting. But Jamal Musiala played 45 minutes and scored a hat-trick, and no one is talking about him.
Oh, it's against Auckland.
Doesn't matter.
It matters, you understand?
So what if Harry Kane failed to score?
The surprising thing,
he should have scored.
That is what I was going to say. The surprising thing is that under no circumstance would Bayern score 10. And anybody was going to tell me that.
But there's a Bayern side in recent time. We've seen how ruthless they can be. Why are we complaining? Because it's also
they are ruthless. My problem is the fact that Harry Kane not getting on the score sheet.
Tells you how good they were defensively against Harry Kane.
Probability. I'm talking about the probabilities. You understand? If Bayern score 3-4. The probability that Harry Kane is going to be among the goals is more than half.
Interesting.
So should Bayern score 10, the probability that Harry Kane was going to be among the goals is 1.
Interesting. But quickly, let's look at some of the new acquisitions by some of these teams. Tijani Reinders was in action for Manchester City, 90 minutes. Solid. He was for them. Talking about new acquisitions for some of these clubs, Tijani Reinders, Nuri was on the bench for Manchester City. Unfortunately, he was just on the bench, an unused substitute. But then you look at Real Madrid, they also have Dean Hussein, they signed from Bournemouth. Then Trent Alexander-Arnold, who was signed for £10 million for just someone whose contract ends in just 2 weeks. So these are all players. But have you been impressed with so far how some of these players have been able to settle into their respective teams? Carrie, let me come to you.
I think kudos to Liam Delap. He did very.
Yeah, Liam was also in action for Chelsea.
He contributed with Chelsea.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah. He doesn't look like a player who just came into the team trying to secure a spot or fight for a spot. He looks like he's already been in the team for a couple of years. His telepathy with the other players and then his involvement in stretch up play and stuff. He did very well. In only 15 minutes, he was able to make a mark and then make a goal for Chelsea as well. So I think he's the best acquisition so far. I've seen players like we watched Reinders this afternoon. He was massive. He did very well. We watched Czechia. I wasn't too impressed. I didn't see the bit of skills he has. He couldn't display that much, but he was a decent player. Yes. Trent Alexander-Arnold, he needs no introduction. Hussein, we know how good he is, especially with the penetrative passes and then how his ability of controlling the defense, starting up play and stuff. So these are very good players. Nuri, you mentioned earlier, was an unused substitute in Manchester City's bench. So we are looking forward to seeing. And then also Chelsea bought a midfielder, a defensive midfielder. Yeah. Yes, I didn't also see much about him because he had very less time on the pitch. So you see.
First, let me bring you in as well. Have you been impressed with the new players? It's more or less like preseason for some of these players because they might not have the chance to go to preseason. Some of them will have to rest until the very first match, of the approaching season. You've been impressed?
You see, that it boils down to what we are saying again. You understand? Rest. But let's go on. I have been impressed with the lap. You understand? Because the coach Maresca rightly indicated that he understood the way they wanted to play, or he understands the way he wanted to play, and that is one of the main reasons why they went for him. Because you might be a very good player, but if you don't understand the concept of a team, it might be difficult for you to slot in. So you understanding how the team wants to play will make you adapt to the team. If you are a player who loves to run behind the defenders and the team doesn't use that technique, you would have to readjust. So I would say that I've been impressed with him, and I've also been impressed with Trent, you know. And don't forget, Trent is the most expensive free signing in history. You know,
was it free?
Yes, it's free.
It was virtually free, but
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That is the most expensive free transfer. Do you understand? Because yes, because if Madrid could have forfeited paying the 10 million,
but then he wouldn't have featured.
He wouldn't have featured in the first 2 matches. Do you understand?
No, he wouldn't have been a player. He wouldn't have been able to play.
No, he would have been able to play subsequently.
No, he wouldn't have been able to play because he wouldn't have been registered.
That's what I'm saying. You see, we have.
Madrid couldn't have registered him before.
The tournament is ongoing.
You can't. No, you need to be registered before. That's why there was a first window that was closed. So you need to be registered before the tournament starts.
That's the window I'm talking
about. No, and he can't be registered because he's not a Madrid player.
That's the window that afforded them to pay the 10 million.
Yeah, so
to get him early.
To get him early, 2 weeks before time. Yeah.
So it's still a free transfer.
Okay, to some extent.
That is worth 10 million.
10 million. Yeah.
So yes, I have been impressed with him. But you see, me being impressed with Trent is no news. We have seen what he's been able to do at Liverpool over the past 10 years. And if Trent has or goes on to have an average season with Madrid, I would not be happy with him, because Trent is one of the best right backs in the game currently. And you consider the way Alonso wants to play. Alonso is just going to play like the way he played at Bayern Leverkusen, but just that they're going to have more flair, because the expectations at Madrid are far different from the expectations at Bayern Leverkusen. So Trent has been good so far in the first match that they've played. The lap, as I rightly indicated, Reinders have also been good, but you see, when you play against WAC of Morocco, I don't think that your performance should be celebrated that much. If you play against the best or some of the best in the game, then I would say that your performance should be celebrated. So far I would say that Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then Delap. I have been impressed with them.
Interesting. All right, so I don't know who you have been impressed with, but then I also do not know which team you are rooting for in the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. But it's been an interesting conversation with my panelists in the studio, Force and then also Kai. Thanks so much, guys. And then to you out there, I don't know, but then I've already predicted PSG to win this tournament. I can't tell if you're also rooting for PSG, but then let us know which team you are rooting for in the comment section, and then also which player has impressed you the most.